Now, when I go to download something, if I click on that and I say download, it'll automatically take me to my folders and let me decide where I want to download it so that I can go and put it inside of my digital arts folder under my Bezier tool practice. So I made all these folders. So you can change your download settings. If it's not asking you where to download stuff, it's automatically going into your download folder. So that could show up possibly at the bottom of your screen like my downloads do, or it might show up in the top right. It just depends, or it might show up over here, on what type of operating system you have. So if you can't find your stuff, I'm guessing it's in your downloads. Okay, so check there. And change your default settings so that you can choose where things go. So let's do an example. If I open up the pen intro and I download it and I put it into my digital arts Bezier 2 folder and I save that, okay? So what I meant by you can right click on it and open with and select Inkscape. If Inkscape's not on the list, then you have to go choose another app. Okay? Inkscape's not going to be right there if it wasn't on your list. So you're going to say more apps and you're going to look for it and you're not going to find it, but down here it's going to say look for another app on this PC and then you'll be able to find it right here, Inkscape. And then just grab the one that says .exe. Click open and bam! It's opening it in Inkscape. Okay? Otherwise, where does it open it? It opens it in an internet browser. Okay? Now, you can change so that all of your Inkscape files open up. And when you do that, you have to say open with, choose another app, and then you can choose your Inkscape, but then down here you can always click, always use this app to open .svg files. Ding. And when you do that and you go okay, all your SVG files suddenly get that little Inkscape logo instead of having the internet logo. Okay? So if that's something you're interested in doing, great. If you're like, no thanks, this is just getting too complicated, that's all right. The easy route is just to go ahead and open up Inkscape. So get an Inkscape window open. File, open. Find your digital arts folder. And find your pen intro and open it right inside. Okay? The shortcut to make this fill the screen is 5. Or you can go view, zoom, and see where it says fill the page, 5. Okay? So now that you have this open, the Bezier tool, don't grab this tool. Let me press save. Don't grab this tool. This is the draw freehand lines. That's a pencil tool. We're not using the freehand lines tool. We're using the Bezier tool. It's French. That's why it has an EA at the sound at the end. It's not Bezier. It's Bezier. It's also called the pen tool. You're also not using the calligraphy tool right now, which is the one below it. So make sure you grab the pen tool, the Bezier tool. And to use it, notice that I keep clicking save. I'm going to go file, save as right now, and I'm going to put my first and last name at the beginning, and then save it. And the reason why is because if I make any changes to it, I don't want to change the original file. I want to keep the original. So changing the name will do that. Now it's a brand new file. So you're just going to click release and click and click, 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 click. And then when you're done, you have to hit enter. You can double click as well. Perfect. So that's done. File, save, perfect. All right. What else was there in here? Let's take our breadcrumb trail back and see. We also had another pen practice. I'm going to download this one. Same place, pen practice. And once again, I'll right click and open that with Inkscape. I can do it that way. Or I can just go right into my Inkscape and go File, Open, and do it there. Either way, I'm going to get the same results. Oh, it's so light. I don't even think you can see it. I'm going to use this zoom tool right here, and I'm going to click and zoom in a little bit, and then that helps. You can see a little bit better. But that is really light. So you're just going to grab that pen tool. Remember, the Bezier tool is the one in the middle. Draw Bezier curves. And I'm just going to click, 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 click. And then you finish at the end. And Control Z, because I just remembered that when I'm making a video, I actually have to, if I remember correctly, because it uses so much RAM, I have to go File, Save, and then I can make my last. You won't have to do that at home. Okay, and then once you get that done, the cool thing is that you can fill that in. So you can pick a color for this interesting. Oh, if it's doing that, hit Enter. There we go. Enter. I didn't hit Enter at the end. You can also double click at the end to make the path stop. So I'm going to fill it with yellow. Fun. Move on to my next shape. This one's a car. Now this one has curves, so it's a little more complex, but and Inkscape and Illustrator work a little bit differently. So let's just go ahead and let me show you how Inkscape is so much easier. Oops. So I'm going to start down here, and everywhere there is a curve, I'm just going to click on the other side of that curve. So there's a big curve, and I'm going to click on the other side of it. Here's a curve, I'll click on the other side. Here's a curve, I'll click on the other side. Here's a straight line. That's cool. Here's a curve, I'll click to the other side. Straight line, click at the end, and then I have to finish here. Oops. Control Z. I'm going to do it again. I forget when I get to the end, because I'm making a video and my RAM acts wonky, I have to go File, Save, Inkscape extension font. Oh, can't. Okay, so yeah, I forgot to rename it. That's what I did. Girot. There we go. Now I should be able to save. File, Save, and now I should be able to click yes and end my path. Okay, so here is how you make these segments or paths turn into curves. We're going to use what's called the node tool. Edit paths by nodes. Click on that. And then all you have to do is just grab that and bend it. Wasn't that cool? Grab it. Whoops, I have to click save every time when I make a video. You won't have to do that at home, but it is still a good practice to get into, just saving every time. Oh, I forget how funny it is to have to constantly save. So then you would just grab these curves and then you can adjust them. Neat. Takes me so much longer than the average Joe because I'm making a video. Oh well. How fun is that? Okay. There's my curves. That's great. Now I can fill this car in. I can make it pink. So basically I'm just picking a color down at the bottom. Okay, I can change the stroke. It's black right now. To do that, if I want to do it down here, and notice at the bottom it says fill is pink and the stroke is black. If I want to change that stroke, do you remember what I have to hold down to click on this palette? I have to hold down Shift. So I'm going to hold down Shift and pick a different stroke color. I don't know if you could tell that that was red. So I've got a fill in stroke box here. It doesn't want to open for me because I'm making a video, so I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. Go to Object, Fill in Stroke, and I can click on the Stroke Style tab at the top, and I'm going to increase that to about 3. Hit Enter, and now you can see that stroke. Perfect. Okay, so this is cool because at the end of this exercise, you're going to have to trace Pinkie Pie or who was it? Oh yeah, Manga Man. Okay, so let me show you some concepts. With Manga Man and Pinkie Pie, you're going to have some things that are on top of and some things that are below other things, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to need to work with layers, okay? Your layers is right here. You can click on it, but if it's not there, just go to Layer, and then Layers at the bottom will bring it up. If your windows are all over the place, just go to well, maybe your windows aren't all over the place. Okay, that's a different program. I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to do it for some tires, okay? So I'm going to rename this layer the car and add a new layer. You can click the add, and I will name this tires, and I'm going to put this below. And there we go, and then add. So you can also move the layers around using these icons right here. You can also do things like add layers here, or switch to layer above or switch to layer below, or move the selection to the layer above. Let's say I decide that I don't want that yellow thing on this layer. So I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to call it yellow thing. And I actually don't want the yellow thing at the top. I could grab it and drag it down. I know it won't work when I'm making a movie. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna just save and slowly get it lower down. So if I want to put that yellow thing right here on a different layer, I can just cut it and then go to the yellow thing layer. I'm hiding the other one so that you can see, and then paste it right onto the yellow thing layer. So now the yellow thing is on the yellow thing layer. I don't have anything on the tires layer, and I've got a car on the car layer, okay? So we're gonna draw the tires now. I don't know why that's doing that. Maybe if I press save, it'll go away. Okay, well, let's see if we can get away with drawing some tires. What shape would you use? I would use a circle. And then remember, you have to make sure you're working on the right layer. So I'm gonna lock the yellow thing layer, and I wanna make the tires layer visible. If I have the eye closed, I'm not gonna be able to see what I'm doing. I'm gonna be like trying to draw a tire, watch. And I'm like, I can't see anything, nothing's happening. And then I go over to turn my tires on, and I try to make something, and suddenly I can see my work. Ha! That's so cool. Okay, so I'm going to change a color of that. I'm going to change the fill right here. I will just make it a nice gray color, and I'm going to change the outline by holding down Shift and clicking there. And then I think I need to it's interesting how there's that little white gap there. I'm just going to take that, and we need to put like a little hubcap on there, right? So I'm going to grab another circle and make sure I'm in the right layer. Always be checking that, because sometimes all of a sudden you'll be doing something and it'll make something in the wrong layer. Hold down Control if you want a perfect circle. Or if you don't, then don't. It's okay. I kind of like mine a little wonky. But I think I'm going to make it bigger. So to make it bigger, you're going to grab your selection tool. Okay? Your selection tool is actually called your transform tool. So I'm just going to grab the corners there, and I can make that a little bit bigger. I can change the shape of it. And now I'm going to change the color of it. Let's see, what color do we want it? That's pretty cool. I'll go with that for now. And I want to take both of those. So I'm just going to hide my car for a second. And I want to select them both. So I can just, as long as I have my selection or transform tool here, I can just click and drag and it'll select both of them. Pretty cool, huh? And then I can go over to Object and I can group them so that now they're just one object. Perfect. Now I'm going to make my car visible again, and I've got my tire, and I'm just going to hit Control Copy and Control V, and I'm going to paste that, and then make sure I have my transform tool, because that's also the tool that lets me move things, and I'm just going to move that over here. Perfect. Okay. The next thing I want to do is I want to make some windows. So I'm going to use a command here. Do you see these little pictures right here? There's all these cool little cutout kinds of things that you can do. I'm going to try to cut out a window by using this difference command. All right, so I'm going to grab my Bezier tool. And something I didn't mention to you is that if you hold down Control, I'm going to hit Escape. Remember, if something funky happens, just hit Escape. I'm going to hold down Control, and that's going to make this line perfectly horizontal. And then I'm just going to click up here. I'm just eyeballing and trying to get it just above. And then, for me, I have to hit Save. And then Join. Okay, so once you have that, then you can grab your nodes tool and you can grab that and make that so that it's curved. Perfect. Now this is going to be really fun, okay? So grab your selection tool, which is this arrow, and you want to select the car too, and you did this on the same layer as the car, okay? So I'm going to hold down Shift to add the car to the selection. All right, and now I'm going up to Path, Difference, and it cut it out. Isn't that cool? I love it. I'm going to go back a step. I'm going to actually select this, and I'm going to Control C copy and Control V paste, and I'm going to use this flip tool. See these cool transform tools? Yeah, I'm going to flip it, and I'm just going to grab it and move it down here. Okay, so I have both of them. You can also use the arrow keys on your keyboard. And if you hold down Shift while you use arrow keys, it moves things in bigger, larger increments. Okay, so if I want to, I don't have to have it be perfectly symmetrical. I can click Save and grab my node tool, and I can change some things. I can grab that and extend it a little bit if I want my back window to look just a little different. I can grab these handles and move them around. Perfect. So once you get it where you want it, grab your selection tool, and you're going to hold down Shift, and you're going to select the car and the windows, and we're going to go to Path, Difference. Oops. That one didn't work. Let's start all over. I'm going to grab one window and one car and say Path, Difference. There we go. And then the other window and the car, holding down Shift, Path, Difference. So it didn't like it when I tried to do them both at the same time. Oops, that's okay. So now you've got your car and your tires. I can totally see another layer underneath where you've got a person. So I'm going to go File, Save, and I'm going to add. And this is going to be the driver or the passenger or whatever. Okay, and I want to do that one below the car layer. Okay, so great. Another fun thing that you can do, and I hate to tell you this because you probably are going to do it and then you'll forget, but if you click on the car layer, notice there's an opacity selection. You can decrease the opacity of your car layer so you can kind of see through it a little bit so you can see what you're drawing. But you're going to want to remember to increase your opacity at the end. Think you can do that? Okay, so I'm going to lock my car layer for a minute and get on my driver layer, okay? And I'm going to just use my Bezier tool to draw someone inside. So first I'll just draw their face. Oh, you know what? I could use, I'm going to show you guys how to use the, oops, escape. I'm going to show you how to use this pencil tool real quick. Might as well, right? So this pencil tool is pretty cool. It's a drawing tool. It's freehand drawing. Now, if you want to use the pencil tool and you want to enjoy it, you want to put your smoothness up to in the 40s somewhere. If you've got your smoothness down here at the bottom and you go to draw, it's going to be really wonky looking, okay? But if you increase your smoothness up to like, I don't know, 48, and you go to draw, look at how smooth and refined it makes it. Smoothness. All right, don't give me anything wonky. Okay, so now I'm going to just go ahead and I'm just going to click and hold and I'm just going to draw whatever I want. Hey! Isn't she adorable? Yes! And she's got teeth. And then some of my teeth didn't turn out. That's okay. There's some teeth, and I'm going to give her some crazy hair now. Oops, hit escape, remember, if something funny happens. Okay, so I'm going to use the pen tool, though, for my crazy hair because I'm going to want to fill it in. So I'm going with my pen tool, and I'm just going to kind of click and drag. Now you don't have to do your pen tool. So her hair is just going to be like flying out the window, all over the place. Okay. And I'm going to close my path off. Okay, so there's crazy hair. And I'm going to fill it in with yellow. Okay, and I can use my node tool now to go in and refine the curves however I want. To make it look like her hair is blowing in the wind. Okay, well, you get the general idea. And then the last thing I think I need to do is just make sure that I have a chin. So I'm going to grab that pencil tool really quick and I'm just going to draw the chin in, even though you're not going to be able to totally see it. And then, yeah, that works. Okay, so now I need to go, oops, hit escape if you have something funny happening. And I need to go and grab my car layer and increase the opacity now so I can see how my crazy person looks driving this car. Okay, so I've got a car layer, a person layer, my driver layer, and my tires. Okay, so that's how you use layers. So I'm gonna go to View, Zoom, Fit in the Page. Ah, that's why. What if I select everything? I can grab this selection tool and just go whoop, and it selects all of it. I don't know if it got the tires though. I'm going to go ahead and save, and I'm going to go ahead and try and get those tires. My tires layer's locked. Careful. If you lock something and you want to try to make changes to that layer, there. Now everything's there. So I'm just going to go ahead and enlarge the whole thing, but first what I want to do is I just want to group it. So I'm going to go Object, Group. Okay. And so now, oh look, it's getting all wonky. How do I make that not happen? What do we think? I'm going to hit Control Z. We want to hold down the Control button. Control controls proportion. Notice I can make this thing huge and it still is nice and sharp. That's what's nice about the vector. Holding down Control, everybody. Holding Control, Control, Control. Nice. I wonder, okay, I'm just going to move it down now. Oh my gosh, how would I make a blue background? Who knows? Let's add a layer. Okay, add a layer. I'm going to call this one the road. And I want that one to be down. So if I would have been smart about it, I can go layer, lower layer to bottom. There we go. Now it's at the bottom. And on this, I'm going to just take a rectangle and I'm just going to make a rectangle in the back. Notice it's still using the yellow that I used for her hair. And I'm going to change that to the color of the road. There we go. And then I'm going to take another rectangle. I'm going to add the sky. And grab another rectangle. Whoops. Grab the sky and color it. Who can see what's wrong with this? Now her face is blue. Uh-oh. And I've got something funny happening back here, and I'm not sure what that is, but I'm going to hit delete and get rid of it. Oh well, I like your blue face. I'm going to go ahead and click save because I think it adds character. And you're asked to take Manga Man or Pinkie Pie. Okay, so you're going to download your Manga Man. All right, or download your Pinkie Pie. Okay, and then you're just going to go into Inkscape and you're going to go File, Open, my Manga Man. Okay, so here's Manga Man. The shortcut, remember, is 5 to make it fill your screen. And I have a layer for my work, but you're probably going to want to do like the tongue. And the face. And maybe even underneath the face, you're going to have the neck. Below the face. Above the face, You might have the eyes. Okay, and then above the eyes, you're gonna have the hair. And then above the hair, you're gonna have the ear. Okay? Does that make sense? So you're gonna use all those skills that I just showed you to develop and trace. And you can get creative and do a little bit of your own thing too. The Mega Man. Or you would do the same thing with Pinkie Pie. Okay, so your first layer is probably going to be things like Pinkie Pie's head, or let's say body. Okay, and then you're just looking at what's going to go on top of that body. The head. And then what's going to go on top of the head? You're going to have hair. You're going to have facial features. Do you understand what I mean? You're going to have this leg, these legs that are in the background. So you might have to figure out what layer those go on, okay? But you layer things on top of each other, and then you'll have your balloons. Those will be on top, right? So this is really an exercise in learning how to use layers and figuring out where things go. So have fun with that, and just be creative and have fun. When you're done, what do? You save it and export it. So let me give you an example. File, save. I've already got that saved as my SVG. The name of the file's up here, and I'm going to export it now. Now when you export something, whatever layers you want to export, you want to make sure they're visible. And we don't want the yellow thing showing up, so we're going to make sure that that's invisible. Okay? So now make sure you save whatever changes you've made. File, export ping image, and then you want to make sure that you save it to the right place. It's saved in my practice folder. The name is rgiropenpractice.ping. Perfect. That is just what it's exporting as. That's not the actual export. If you want to export it, you have to click the green export button. What I like to do is click close when it's completed, because then I train myself to know that if this window hasn't closed, it hasn't exported yet. I might have clicked the wrong button. Click the green export button. Boom. There's my exported ping.